Hello friends, I'm Mr. Bhalirao sir, and as usual I welcome you to my channel, that is English for Learners. Friends, today we are going to learn about the fall of Troy, its English workshop. Please watch this video and have a practice of question answers. The name of the topic is The Fall of Troy. Summary in Marathi. प्रस्तुत पाठात ट्रॉय किंवा लियम या प्रसिद्ध व प्राचीन श्रीमंत व्यापारी शहराच्या ऱ्हासाची कथा सांगितली आहे. ही कथा ग्रीक लेखक होमर यांनी लिहिलेल्या लियाद या कवितेतून घेतलेली आहे. ट्रॉयचा राजपुत्र पॅरिस याने ग्रीक राजा मेनिलास याची पत्नी हेलन हिच्याशी पळून जाऊन लग्न केले आणि यामुळे ग्रीक साम्राज्याच्या प्रतिष्ठेला व सन्मानाला धक्का पोचल्याने ग्रीकांना ट्रॉयचा सूड घ्यायचा होता. 10 वर्षे ग्रीकांनी ट्रॉय या सुंदर शहराला वेढा दिला व भयावह असे युद्ध घडून आले. एका बाजूला माउंट इडा आणि दुसऱ्या बाजूला भव्य भिंत यामुळे ट्रॉयचे रक्षण केले गेले. ग्रीकांच्या फौजा जहाज व बोटीने आल्या आणि त्यांनी ट्रोजन किल्ल्याभोवती तंबू उभारले. या वर्षामध्ये अगणित ग्रीक आणि ट्रोजन सैन्य या युद्धात दररोज मारले गेले. कित्येक सैन्य व नायक कित्येक दिवशी मृत्यू पावले, परंतु युद्ध चालूच राहिले. युद्धाच्या 9व्या वर्षाच्या शेवटी ट्रॉय लष्कराचे नेतृत्व करत असलेला हेक्टर महान योद्धा अचिलीज याकडून ठार झाला. 10व्या वर्षी ट्रॉय शहर ग्रीकांनी युद्ध न करता हुशारीने हस्तगत केले. ओडियस या राजा आणि योद्ध्याने ट्रॉयवर चढाई करण्याचा कट रचला. ग्रीकांनी पुष्कळ ग्रीक सैनिक मावू शकतील असा एक मोठा लाकडी घोडा तयार केला. घोडा तयार झाल्याने ओडियस आणि मेनलास यांच्यासहित ग्रीक योद्धे घोड्याच्या आत गेले व घोडा बंद करण्यात आला. एके रात्री ग्रीक सैन्याने त्यांच्या तंबूंना आग लावली आणि जवळच असलेल्या बेटावर लपण्यासाठी त्यांनी बोटी वळवल्या. दुसऱ्या दिवशी ट्रोजान सैन्य जेव्हा रणभूमीवर आले तेव्हा एक मोठा लाकडी घोडा किनाऱ्यावर मागे ठेवून ग्रीक सैन्य निघून गेल्याचे त्यांना आश्चर्य वाटले. त्यांनी घोड्याच्या खाली एका ग्रीक सैनिकाला बांधलेल्या अवस्थेत पाहिले. त्याने त्याला ट्रॉय सैन्याला जे सांगावयास सांगितले ते मोठ्या चातुर्याने सांगितले. त्याने सांगितले की ग्रीक सैन्य दीर्घ युद्धामुळे फार थकले होते आणि त्यांना घरी जायचे होते. घरी जाण्यासाठी त्यांचा प्रवास शांततेने व्हावा या हेतूने त्यांनी समुद्र देवतेला अर्पण करण्यासाठी हा घोडा तयार केला. घोड्याच्या भव्य आकाराबाबत विचारणा केली असता ग्रीक सैनिक म्हणाला, जर लहान घोडा केला असता तर तो कदाचित ट्रोजान सैन्य ट्रॉय शहरात घेऊन गेले असते आणि सुदैवाने ट्रोजानांच्या बाजूने उभे राहिले असते. म्हणून ग्रीकांच्या अनुकूलतेकरता हा भव्य घोडा शहराबाहेर उभा केला आहे. ट्रोजानांना वाटले की ग्रीक सैन्य निघून गेले आहे आणि शहराच्या एका बाजूच्या भव्य भिंतीची गरजही नाही. त्यामुळे त्यांनी भिंतीचा काही भाग तोडला व भव्य घोडा ढकलत शहरामध्ये आणला, जेणेकरून ग्रीकांना दुर्दैव लाभेल. म्हणून धर्मगुरूच्या चेतावणीला न जुमानता ट्रोजानांनी किल्ल्याच्या आत घोडा ढकलत आणला. त्या रात्री विजयाच्या आनंदात ट्रोजानचे सैन्य शांत झोपी गेले. मध्यरात्री बेटावर लपलेले ग्रीक सैन्य परत आले. आतमध्ये असलेल्या ग्रीक सैनिक चपळाईने रांगत लाकडी घोड्याजवळ गेला आणि त्याने इशारा दिला. घोड्याची बाजू उघडताच ग्रीक सैन्य बाहेर आले आणि त्यांनी किल्ल्याचा दरवाजा उघडला. अशा रीतीने सर्व ग्रीक सैन्यांनी शांतपणे झोपलेल्या ट्रॉय शहरात प्रवेश केला. त्यांनी शहरातली घरे, राजवाडे जाळले आणि शहरामध्ये जाळपोळ व कत्तली सुरू केल्या. भव्य व जुने ट्रॉय शहर पूर्णतः जळून खाक झाले. कित्येक सैन्य, योद्धे आणि राजे यात क्रूरपणे मारले गेले. यामध्ये महान ग्रीक योद्धा अचलीज, ट्रॉयचा राजा प्रियाम आणि राजपुत्र पॅरिस हे देखील मारले गेले. ट्रोझान लष्कराचा नायक हेक्टर, याची पत्नी आणि आई आणि बहीण यांना गुलाम म्हणून नेण्यात आले आणि हेलनला राजा मेनलॉसकडे परत पाठवण्यात आले. जेव्हा दुसऱ्या दिवशी पहाट झाली तेव्हा श्रीमंत व भव्य ट्रॉय शहर नामशेष झाले. 10 वर्षे सातत्याने ग्रीकांच्या हल्ल्याचा निकार आणि प्रतिकार करूनही, सतत विरोध करूनही हे शहर नष्ट झाले. Part 1. Extract 1. Read the extract from line 1 to 20 on page 69 of your textbook and answer the following questions. Simple factual reading questions. 1. Correct the following sentences using facts from the extract. Point 1. Troy traded in cattle and grass with the other cities. Answer. Troy traded in goods and grains with the other cities. Point 2. The Trojans had built a strong wall around the city so that it could be covered from all sides. Answer. The Trojans had built a strong wall around the city so that no enemy should attack them from the sea. Point 3. The wall was narrow and so people couldn't stand on it. Answer. The wall was broad and people could stand, sit and walk on it. Complex or understanding level question. Question number 1. How did the location of Troy help it to grow under a very rich or prosperous city? Answer. The location of Troy helped the city to grow into a very rich and prosperous city because there was a sea in front of it, over which the ship of Troy sailed, carrying goods and grains. At the back was Mount Ida, from which flowed many rivers and streams. The valley among the hills was fertile, and they provided the perfect pastures for grazing cattle and wild sheep. Question number 2. What was built around the city? What was it like? Answer. The Trojans had built a strong wall around the city so that no enemy would attack them from the sea. The wall was broad and people could sit, stand and walk on it. Question number 3. How were the Trojans protected during wartime? Answer. During wartime, when the city gates were closed, the city became a fortress protected by the walls. Vocabulary. 1. Find the antonyms of the following words from the extract. Barren. Answer. Fertile. Defenseless. Answer. Strong. 3. Surrender. Answer. Attack. 4. Exposed. Answer. Protected. Point 2. Give the synonyms of the following. Grassland. Answer. Meadow. 2. Wide. Broad. Liked. Pleased. Question related to the grammar. Please watch on the screen. Personal response type question. Do you know what is myth? Give an example of mythological story that you have heard of or read. Answer. A myth is a story that is traditional and historical, based on society and gives a moral. The mythological story of Lord Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill on his little finger in order to protect people of Vrindavan from heavy rain is one of the stories that I have read of. Extract 2. Read the extract from line 21 to 51 on page 69 and 70 of your textbook and answer the following questions. Simple factual reading questions. 1. Correct the following sentences using facts from the extract. Point 1. Helen escaped with Menelaus. Answer. Helen escaped with Paris. 2. Troy was attacked by because it was a strong, rich city. Answer. Troy was attacked because Paris, the prince of Troy, eloped with Helen, wife of the Greek king Menelaus, and the Greek wanted revenge. 3. During war, Trojans jumped over the fort gate and their soldiers to fight the enemy. Answer. During war, the Trojans came out of their gates to fight the enemy. 4. The Greek armies and heroes always defeated the Trojans. Answer. Sometimes the Trojans were better at fighting and sometimes the Greeks. 5. Both the enemies were eager to continue fighting. Answer. The Trojans were tired of being shut up in their city and the Greeks were longing to see their homes again. Question number 2. State the counter action of the following action. Now you can watch on the screen the column of action and column of counter action. Now see the answer. Action. Point 1. Helen eloped with Paris. Counter action. The Greek attacked the city of Troy to take revenge. 2. The Greeks sailed to the Troy and attacked it. Counteraction. The Trojans fought hard. 3. Hector was killed by Achilles. Counteraction. Achilles was killed by a poisoned arrow that pierced his heel. 4. The siege continued for 10 long years. Counteraction. On one hand, the Greeks could not take the city. On the other hand, the Trojans could not force them to sail away. 5th one. The fighting went on daily. Counteraction. Sometimes the Trojans had the better of it, that is the fighting, and sometimes the Greeks. Complex or understanding level question. Question number 1. What was the cause of the 10-year-old war between the Greeks and the Trojans? Answer. The cause of the 10-year-old war between the Greeks and the Trojans was that the prince of Troy, Paris, convinced the wife of Greek king Menelaus, Helen, to elope with him. This enraged the Greeks, and so to take revenge, the Greeks attacked the city of Troy. Question number 2. Why did the siege not end? The siege did not end because, on one hand, the Greeks could not take the city, and on the other hand, the Trojans couldn't force them to sail away. Question number 3. Who were the brave heroes on either side who were killed in the war? Answer. The brave heroes on either side who were killed in the war were Achilles, Greeks, Hector and Paris, Trojan. Question number 4. How was Achilles killed? Answer. Achilles was killed by a poisoned arrow that entered his heel, which was the only part of his body that could be wounded. Question related to vocabulary. 1. Find the antonyms of the following words from the extract. Offended. Answer. Defended. Cowardly. Answer. Brave. 3. Disordered. Answer. Persuaded. 4. Peace. War. Give the meaning of the following words. Elope. Answer. To run away in order to get married secretly. 2. Resist. Answer. To tolerate. Question related to the grammar. Please watch on the screen. Personal response type question. Question number 1. Does the word war remind you of any mythological war stories that you know of? Answer. Yes. The word war reminds me of the war that took place between Lord Rama and Ravana in order to rescue Sita from the shackles of Ravan. It also reminds me of the epic war of Mahabharata between the Pandavas and Kauravas. Part 2, Extract 3. Read the extract from line 52 to 85 on page 72 of your textbook and answer the following questions. Simple factual reading questions. Question number 1. State whether the following statements are true or false. 1. It was Menelaus who thought of a plan to obtain the victory. Answer. False. 2. The Greek leaders decided to follow the advice of the wise Odysseus. Answer. True. 3. The Trojans were disappointed that the Greeks left. Answer. False. Complex or understanding level questions. 1. How did Odysseus plan to defeat the Trojans? Answer. Odysseus planned to defeat the Trojans by a trick. He suggested that they build a wooden horse big enough to hold men inside it and let some of the best fighters hide inside the horse. Then, at night, the Greek would knowingly burn their tents and pretend to sail away in their ships. But instead of sailing away, they would return the next night when the Trojans would be asleep and attack the city and burn and kill all. Question number 2. Which members of the Greek army entered the horse? Answer. The greatest heroes of the Greek army like Menelaus, Odysseus, the others, and the architect entered the horse. Question number 3. Why did the architect enter the horse? Answer. The architect entered the horse because he knew the secret of opening and shutting the entrance of the horse. Question 4. Was it enough to use the wooden horse to hide? What was done to make the Trojans take it inside the city? Answer. It wasn't enough to use the wooden horse to hide. The Greeks left behind a man to pursue the Trojans, to drag the horse into their city. Question 5. What was the reason for Troy to rejoice and celebrate? Answer. The reason for Troy to rejoice and celebrate was that the Greeks were gone and the long siege was over at last. Question related to the vocabulary. 1. Give the synonyms of the following. Empty. Answer: deserted. Amazement. Astonishment. 2. Give the antonyms of the following. Captive. Free. Scattered. Gathered. Question related to the grammar. Please watch on the screen. Personal response type question. 1. Have you ever tricked someone or have been tricked by someone? Share your experience. Answer: yes, I have been tricked by my cousin once. He wanted me to visit his place, but I denied as I was busy with my project work. He then pretended to be sick and I immediately rushed to him. When I reached his place, I realized that he had tricked me into meeting him. We burst into laughter. Extract 4. Read the extract from line 86 to 123 on page 72 and 73 of your textbook and answer the following questions. Simple factual reading questions. 1. State whether the following statements are true or false. 1. The Trojans hide in the wooden horse to attack the Greek. Answer: false. 2. When the Trojans forced the man to speak, he told them a false tale. Answer: true. 3. All day the Trojans feasted and drank and celebrated. Answer: true. Question number 2. Find out who said the following statements to whom. 1. But I escape and hide from them. Answer: the above sentence was spoken by the Greek man who was found lying under the wooden horse to the Trojans. 2. You will bring disaster on the city if you break down the walls. Answer: the above sentence was spoken by the wise priest of Troy to the Trojans. Complex or understanding level questions. How did the cunning Greek explain the presence of such a large wooden horse? Answer: the cunning Greek explained the presence of large wooden horse by saying that the Greeks were tired of the long war and had sailed away in their ships. As they were afraid of the long voyage of home, they made the horse and left it as an offering for God of the sea. Question number 2. According to the Greek man, why did the Greeks make such a huge horse? Answer: according to the Greek man, the Greeks made such a huge horse because if they had made it smaller, the Trojans might have taken it into the city and the luck would have gone to them instead. Question number 3. What did the wise priest warn the Trojans about? Answer: the Trojans were warned by the priest that the horse might be tricked to ruin the Trojans and that if the people broke down the walls, they would bring disaster to the city of Troy. Question 4. What reckless, thoughtless step did the Trojans take? Answer: the Trojans took the reckless, thoughtless step of breaking down a part of the wall and dragging the horse inside the city. Question number 5. Was the big wooden horse really an offering to the god of sea? Answer: no. The big wooden horse was not really an offering to the god of the sea because inside it, hiding were the heroes and soldiers of the Greek army who wanted to enter the city of Troy and defeat the Trojans. Question related to the vocabulary. Give the synonyms of the following words: sly, cunning, destroy, ruin, horror, terror. 2. List 5 words similar to the feeling of being happy in the extract. Answer: delighted, excited, feasted, celebrated, rejoicing. Question related to the grammar. Please watch on the screen. Personal response type question. Do you think that the way the Greeks entered the city was just to give reasons? Answer: no, the way the Greeks entered the city was not just because they used trickery to take over the city of Troy. It was wrong on their part to make the Trojans believe that they had sailed away in their ships and then attack them when they were asleep. Though the Trojans made a foolish mistake of bringing the horse inside the city, the Greeks should not have resorted to such an unfair way to win the war. Extract 5. Read the extract from line 124 to 158 on page 73 and 74 of your textbook and answer the following questions. Simple factual reading. 1. Correct the following sentences using the facts from the passage. 1. The leading ship was of Odysseus. Answer: the leading ship was of Agamemnon. 2. The Trojans were ready for the attack at night. Answer: the Trojans were sleeping and were taken by surprise. 3. Hector's wife, old mother, and sister were killed by the Greeks. Answer: Hector's wife, old mother, and sister were carried off as slaves by the Greeks. 4. Menelaus did not forgive Helen. Answer: Menelaus forgave Helen and she went back with him. Question related to the complex or understanding level. 1. How did the Greek ships remain hidden from Troy? Answer: the Greek ships remained hidden from Troy by an island. They lowered their sails, dropped anchor, and waited for the night. 2. What did the Greek soldiers hidden in the wooden horse do after nightfall? Answer: after nightfall, the Greek soldiers who were hidden in the wooden horse waited for the signal from the rest of the Greek army. As soon as they got the signal, the architect opened the entrance of the horse, the soldiers opened the gate of the city, and the entire Greek army entered the sleeping city of Troy. Then they set fire to houses and towers and palaces, and began to burn and kill. Question number 3. What distressing sound and sight could be witnessed at Troy that fearful night? Answer: that fearful night in the city of Troy, the distressing sight of leaping flames and the sounds of shouting, weapons, and cries of weeping women could be witnessed. 4. What was Helen's reaction after facing her former husband? Answer: Helen hung her head in shame and sorrow as she faced her former husband. Her voice was choken with emotion and she could not speak. Question number 5. What was the destiny of the royal family of the Troy and that of Helen? Answer: the destiny of the royal family of Troy was in contrast to that of Helen. Old King Priam and his son were killed. Prince Hector's wife, old mother, and sister were taken as slaves by the Greeks. whereas Helen was forgiven by Menelaus and she went back to Greece with him. Questions related to the vocabulary, please watch on the screen. Question related to the grammar, please watch on the screen. And question related to the personal response, please watch on the screen. Questions related to the language study, additional questions, and question related to the study skills, activities and writing skills. All these questions and answers are given on the screen. It is not recorded. Please watch and have a practice for yourself.